Monsters are real, and they look like people you love. Stephen King. I never imagined that quote would one day define my life. It started with an old trunk in the basement, a dusty relic I hadn't seen before, tucked away behind cobwebs and forgotten boxes. Curiosity nudged me to open it. Inside, I found photographs of strangers, newspaper clippings about unsolved murders, and journals bound in leather. My parents' handwriting filled the pages. The entries described everything: the victims, their routines, the murders themselves. Words like precision, control, and satisfaction littered the pages. My stomach churned. Every detail matched unsolved cases from cities we'd lived in. The people who taught me how to ride a bike, celebrated my birthdays, and kissed my scraped knees, they were killers. My parents weren't just living double lives. They were predators, methodical and remorseless. I confronted them the night I discovered the truth. "I found the trunk," I said during dinner, the words clawing their way out of me. The room fell silent. My mother's fork clattered against her plate. My father's jaw tensed. "You shouldn't have been down there," he said quietly. "I know what you've done." My mother's face crumpled, but my father's eyes burned with something colder. "You don't understand," he said, his tone sharp. "Explain it then," I shouted, my voice cracking. My mother tried to speak through her tears. "It wasn't meant to be like this. You don't know what we've been through." "No," I said, standing up. "You don't get to justify this." That's when my father snapped. His chair screeched against the floor as he stood. "We raised you. We protected you, and now you'd turn on us?" His voice was low, trembling with rage. He lunged. I barely dodged him, adrenaline turning my limbs to fire. My mother screamed, begging him to stop, but he kept coming. I grabbed the journals, the photos, anything I could carry, and bolted out the door. I didn't stop running until I reached the police station. The officers didn't believe me at first. Who would? But I laid the evidence before them: the journals, the clippings, the ID cards. Eventually, they listened. My parents were arrested that night. The media frenzy was immediate, their faces plastered across every channel. The trial was agonizing, every detail dissected and replayed. I sat in the courtroom, their eyes boring into me, cold and unyielding. They were convicted. I lost everything that day: my family, my home, my sense of self. The world saw me as the child of monsters, and I struggled to define myself outside their shadow. But I stopped them. No more victims. No more lives destroyed. And every night, when I close my eyes, I remind myself, monsters don't just live in stories. Sometimes they sit across from you at the dinner table.